Hey guys, this is a second part to a video I just made, and I kind of cut off the end because I wanted to show you something first before you got into a couple problems that are in your textbook. So, one thing that I want to talk to you about is factoring. Some of you really haven't had a whole lot of this, I don't think. So, I just wanted to go over it really quick. Hopefully, it won't be any long video. But right here, I just put up a situation that is the distributed property. So this is really 4 times 5 because 2 plus 3 is inside the parentheses. But you guys learned that you can separate the 5 into 2 plus 3. So what you would normally do here if you did the distributed property was you would take the 4 times the 2, which would turn into 4 times 2, okay? Plus you would do this, then 4 times 3. So, and I could put these in parentheses here, and that would give us the same answer. So 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 2 is 12, 8 plus 12 is 20, which is the same answer you'd get here. Now, the thing that I wanted to show you was that what you're going to be asked to do is to do basically the distributive property in reverse. So instead of seeing something like this and doing the distributive property, you're going to start seeing things like this, and you need to figure out how to get it to look back like this way. So let me give you an example. Okay. So if I gave you something like this, 3 times 2 plus 3 times 5, and I can put it in parentheses here. So basically, you've got 6 plus a 15, okay? But if you notice, they have a common factor. They both have a 3 being multiplied to things. So you can pull that 3 out and multiply it to the 2 plus 5, okay? So, and if you notice, if you were to do the distributed property on this bottom one, you'd have 3 times 2, which is right there, and 3 times 5, which is right there. Okay? And this is the same thing as 3 times 7. You're going to get the same answer either way. So let me show you an example that comes from your textbook before I let you go. Okay. And let me write it down for you. Sx plus tx equals r. Now that looks really strange, but you've already learned about isolating variables and all that sort of thing. So in this problem, they're actually asking for you to solve for x. So in the literal equation or in the problems that you did just before now, you didn't have you had more than one variable and you either had to solve for y or solve for x. That was in the previous video. Well, this they're all variables, but they want you to get the x by itself, but it's attached to two different coefficients. But what you can do is this is kind of like the same thing that we did earlier, where you've got, let's pretend s is a 2 and x is a 3. Well, this is 2 times 3 plus, let's say, 7 times 3. So they're both sharing this number here. So you can pull it out, you can factor it out. So x comes out, and I'm going to put s plus t in the inside. And look what happens. If you were to do the distributed property here, you'd have x times s, which is right here, x times t, which is right here. So you're kind of doing the distributive backwards. You're pulling out what they have in common so you can get the x on the outside here. This still equals r. Now, to get x by itself, you just learned in the previous video, you can divide by an expression when they're multiplied together like this. So this is like x times some coefficient, so I can divide by that coefficient. S plus t's cancel. I divide by s plus t. You get x equals r over s plus t, and you're done. Your x is by itself. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. Okay, your x is by itself. That was the goal. So the process is the same as in the previous video, but the factoring wasn't there. So I want you to keep that in mind if you run into some problems where your variable is in more than one spot and you've got to somehow pull it out. So you can end up maybe dividing by it. So just think about it. I think there's one or two in there, so it might be a little bit of a challenge, but if you have questions, let me know. And you can refer back to this if you want to. Or of course, check in your textbook. You can look at the pages before it, see if it can help you out. Okay. Good luck.